welcome and thank you for joining us today for the Empower Workplace Charging Recognition event. We're excited to have you here as we recognize workplaces advancing transportation electrification and supporting cleaner air. This will be a brief and celebratory session lasting about 45 minutes, and we'll leave a few minutes at the end for any questions or comments. Today's focus is on recognizing workplace charging leaders and celebrating the progress being made through Empower. Today's session is being recorded, and we kindly ask that you keep yourself muted unless you are speaking. I'll go ahead and pass it on to Emma.
Awesome. Thanks, Heather. Hi, everyone. So welcome. Today's event is just an opportunity to highlight and celebrate some organizations that have taken meaningful steps to support workplace charging and just to sort of recognize them and then build continued momentum around transportation electrification as well. So on the slide, you can just see some of the things that we'll go over in today's presentation. And here's a quick snapshot of the speakers that you'll hear from today. So in addition to staff from Minnesota Clean Cities and North Dakota Clean Cities, you'll also hear from two guest speakers who will be presenting a bit later in the program. And with that, I'll pass it on over to Lisa Thurston to share more about the Clean Cities Initiative and Minnesota Clean Cities.
Great, thank you so much. Before we dive into the topic, I'll share a quick overview about our organization and how we work together. Clean Cities and Communities Coalitions are partners with the U.S. Department of Energy's Vehicle Technologies Office Technology Integration Program. As you may realize, there have been various name changes in the admin, so some of this may be vaguely familiar. Staff from the Department of Energy headquarters, national laboratories, and support contractors provide technical assistance, information resources, online training, and an array of data analysis tools to ensure coalition directors, such as Heather and myself, are equipped to manage our coalition successfully and support our regions. Minnesota Clean Cities Coalition in North Dakota is coordinated by the American Lung Association in the Healthy Air Solutions Program. The connection and relationship between the American Lung Association for today's topic isn't always obvious, though, and so sharing the American Lung Association's mission is to save lives by improving lung health and preventing lung disease. And one strategy under that is to improve the air we breathe so it will not cause or worsen lung disease. Minnesota Clean Cities Coalition was designated in 2001, and we help industry partners raise awareness of clean air choice fuels and technologies among consumers and fleet operators. Today, we're excited to showcase our work on the Empower project. Heather?
Awesome, thanks, Lisa. So North Dakota Clean Cities is also coordinated by the Lung Association, and we've been designated since 1998. We work across the state to reduce the impact of vehicle emissions on both environment and public health. This includes raising awareness and supporting fleet transitions to cleaner fuel options, such as ethanol, biodiesel, and electricity. Like Minnesota Clean Cities, we've partnered with Empower to help expand electric vehicle charging availability in workplaces across the state in North Dakota. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and pass it back to Lisa to introduce our first speaker.
Great, thank you. So with the workplacecharging.com program and content, it is powered by Shift2 Electric, an EV market and business consulting and training company in Minnesota. Jukka Kukkonen is an automotive engineer by training and worked as a technical trainer and an area manager for Ford in Europe. In 2010, he founded Shift2 Electric to focus on transportation electrification. Shift2 Electric has built impactful business strategies and solutions for a variety of partners and platforms. And now we are going to hear how he has assisted Empower. Thanks, Jukka. You can now start sharing your screen.
All right, thanks, Lisa. And good afternoon, everyone. Still on morning side. Good morning, everyone. Happy to be here today talking with you about this project and some of the things that we've done. You should see my screen right now there. So this is our website where we have workplacecharting.com, where we have all the resources that we put together for this one. So we've actually, in this project, we have put together a ton of resources that we have either developed ourselves or that we know that are good resources that you can take advantage of. And then we provide links and all of that. So we have different tabs here. Feel free to spend couple of hours trying to go through everything, but you don't necessarily have to. If you're just kind of like looking into ways to start working on workplace charting projects, I would recommend just go to resources. So if you click the resources link there, it's the first one. There you can see the all different kind of resources that we have here for you. We have different kind of tools here. We have reports and studies. We have useful links and all of that. Plenty of material there for you. But the first thing that I would recommend people to take a look at is that look at this, your pocket guide to installing workplace charting. This is kind of a key piece to get going, and then you can take advantage of other resources when you need it. So I'll jump into that page here. So well, that's not the right one. I'm sorry. I'll go back to this one and just click to that page here. So it'll open up here as a separate document. So this one kind of walks you through the process roughly there. So starting from planning, first talk with your employees and assess what kind of demand you have at your workplace for workplace charting. Identify and engage key stakeholders. Talk with the variety of different stakeholders, the many different entities that are kind of needed in this project. So talk with them and figure out what are the best ways to move forward with this. Select the charting sites where you're thinking you might want to have the installations done. Look at the different options for charting equipment and develop the charting policies. Then it's time for installation. So you install the charting equipment, you add signage and in the parking spaces, and then key pieces from there on is really when you have actually done the planning and you've done the first installations, is to look at how does this actually work in real life. You go back and start to figure out what kind of usage are we seeing, how are people using it, talking with them like, okay, is this working for you? Should we change things a little bit? And then based on that, you can do adjustments to your, for example, charting policies if that's needed. And then, of course, remember to take care of the unit. So maintenance piece is also important there. And also in the future, you want to kind of see, how am I going to add to this system? How are we going to change this so that it works well for our employees? So in this document, we kind of provide the basic information about all of these things and kind of like help you to figure out what are the key thinking points here, I would say, and topics that you have to include in all of this. You look at what kind of what people are really looking for in this EV charting. The first page is then you identify and engage key stakeholders, and as mentioned, there are plenty of different stakeholders. They are, if you happen to own the building, that's a little easier. But if you happen to be renting that property, then you're talking with the building owner or landlord and figure out, okay, how do we do this? Facilities management, electric utility, all of different stakeholders. Quite a bit of different people to get involved with the process, but that's just part of it. Then looking at the sites, what are the best places to really do the charting? Quite a bit of different decisions when you choose the charging equipment. Good news is that there's all the time better solutions out in the marketplace. So you can either do the management yourself or you can have some company to do it for you and all of that. Very good options available when it comes to networking. Then charging policies, of course, we figure out how you're gonna talk about this with your employees and what kind of etiquettes are set there in place. Payments and should I charge a fee and all that, all different kind of things in that space. And then, as I said, installing charging equipment, adding signage, monitoring the usage, as said, very important, especially if you're thinking about this as being part of something that you look at the whole holistically on your companies. What are your goals? What do you want to achieve? You want to then look at the metrics to track here and move forward with it, and so forth. So this is the first tool that I always recommend people to start with. But as said, there's no shortage of other tools. We have information about smart charging features. You can do power and energy calculations for different kind of ways to approach this. We have employee workplace charging survey template that you can take advantage of. We have information about different infrastructure there, project checks lists, even metering and payment systems for workplace charging, looking at what's the best way to do the metering and payment. And that depends on what your setup is, how you want to run your project. So those are all helpful for you. So as I said, ton of different resources there. Take a look at it and take advantage of this. I hope that we have developed and provided you something that you will find useful in your project. All right, I will give this back. I think Emma is going to be talking a little bit about how the project has been going so far. So I'll stop sharing here.
Awesome. Just gonna share my screen again. Sorry, it's loading. Just a second. Okay. Let me. Okay, sorry, let me try that again. It said it needed to reload something. Okay, here it is. Awesome. So thank you so much, Yuka. Here are some statistics showcasing some success that Empower Project has had in the years that it's been run. So nationally, Empower exceeded its goals in several key areas, as you can see here. Engagements actually of workplaces has exceeded the target by 172%, and pledges organizations that either have workplace charging or that are, pledging and looking into installing workplace charging. Actually, we achieved 103% of that goal nationwide. And then charging ports installed to date is 31% of that goal. And to the right, you can see a dashboard showcasing all the sites and charging installations that are supported by the Empower project. And now I'll pass it on to Minnesota Clean Cities to highlight some of their sites in the state.
Thank you, Emma. So Minnesota Clean Cities Coalition has a few Empower sites that we are recognizing today, including Thermo King, SRF Consulting, and iState Truck Centers. These three companies represent a wide variety of industries where employees can now conveniently charge their electric vehicles at work. We are joined today by Matt, who is a principal electrification engineer from Thermo King, who will share his site's experience and the impact of Empower. Thanks, Matt, for joining us today.
Hi. Sorry. Hi. Thank you. Glad to join everybody today and talk a little bit about our charging experience at Thermo King. So Thermo King, if you don't know us, we're kind of one of those brands in the background. We provide all the transport refrigeration needed to keep your food cold, your groceries, enable convenience markets and things like that. And we've been in a process of electrification over the last few years for our own equipment. We have some employee resource groups, including a sustainability group that started to talk about EV charging. And, I got to know Yuko a little bit and we kind of followed his roadmap to the T. We had some advantages. We have our own in-house electrician. We have plenty of site, a site power or energy to spare. We're a large commercial site. And back in 2023, we started to engage with the leadership, the folks that have to sign the checks for deploying some charging equipment. We're part of Train Technologies, a larger a larger brand. If you know Train, you know the HVAC equipment. And they had a larger initiative that definitely put this into our advantage as well, including a partnership with ChargePoint. So our charging equipment was kind of pre-selected for us. We did some work with the facilities team to locate a site. And then when we did the installation, we actually said, well, let's see how utilization goes. Let's put in 6 connections now, and let's rough in the conduits and make sure we have the circuits accessible for future expandability. Then we coordinated with a parking lot expansion and a parking lot repaving effort in 2025. So we brought those extra stations online then, and we currently host over 30 drivers, some having more than one EV. And using the ChargePoint specs, it looks like we're averaging well over 4 megawatts a month in dispensed energy, 250 sessions, and we're working on getting drivers to switch off at noontime. Our peak days are Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, which is to be expected. Our lightest day is Friday. But a lot of times you'll go out there, and like this picture shows, all 12 ports are occupied. So we have like a Teams chat group going that if somebody needs to plug their car in, they can find somebody else to unplug. We're working on some other ideas on how to notify each other and remind each other to share those plugs. But it's been a really good experience, and I'd say with the energy behind the employee action group and the support from leadership, this has been really successful. So.
Thank you so much, Matt. That is awesome.
Yeah.
It's so cool to see workplace electrification like in real life and sort of see that application. So now I'm just going to highlight really quickly a snapshot of some of our sites for North Dakota that have signed for Empower. So there's a lot of variety in the organizations that have signed. So some are museums, some are car dealerships. We have a vision center, even an auto body repair service. And our pledges are located in different areas across the state, as you can see to the map in the right. And they offer charging both for their own employees and for visitors of their organizations. And it's really helpful in providing key charging stations in our state for electric vehicle owners, and also to promote new interest in electric vehicles as well. Awesome. And with that, thank you so much for attending. To the right, you can see some ways to connect with Minnesota Clean Cities and North Dakota Clean Cities. And you can learn more about Empower at workplacecharging.com. Are there any questions or comments that we can answer at this time? Yes.
Yep, I'd say we're also open at Thermo King if there's anybody that would like to stop by or talk to us about the project, how we implemented it, and some of the benefits that we're seeing for the employees. So we're open to further conversations. So let us know.
Thank you. Awesome.
Thanks for hosting.
Yeah, and I'll just add here that while the Empower project is formally closing for the big overall project funded by the U.S. Department of Energy, the resources will be online, and you can find more about it on each of the websites in this website as well. And if there's any questions that Heather and team and I can help anyone walk through, we are available, and our contact information is here on the slide.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone.
So with that, we'll be wrapping up this webinar here, and it was recorded today, and we'll be sharing it on some social media channels as well for future reference. Thank you.